Hi, I'm Stashia. I know that's kind of an unusual name, but it's what I was blessed with. I'm starting this vlog with my mom, which is going to be kind of unusual. We have a very unique family dynamic, so we thought it'd be really cool to kind of put this out there and see if maybe there's anyone else who kind of relates to us. And there are a few reasons why our lives have kind of meshed and wound up the way they are. Just to kind of start and tell you a little bit about me, this is how I look 85% of the time. I was going to wait and do my intro video when I was like prettied up or whatever, and then I realized that no, I want this vlog to really reach out to people who can relate to me, and one of the ways to relate to me is this is how I look. I'm a stay-at-home mom to 3 girls. I don't know how to grow boys, apparently. I really tried, and just didn't happen that way. My husband, Isaiah, is in the military, so we live in kind of that shaky life, you know. Sometimes there isn't a lot of consistency, but it's always very rewarding. I'm married to my hero, and I feel very blessed with that. And he's an amazing dad to our 3 daughters, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And I kind of had an early start to parenthood. I was a teen mom. I was pregnant with my oldest daughter, Haley Kate. We call her HK for short. When I was 17 and in college, and her dad wasn't in the picture, and so we lived with my parents. And I know a lot of moms out there can relate to that, because I've had other friends who have had babies early on, and they were saying to be blessed with a family that took care of them like mine did. And we had our own little room in my parents' house, and it was just me and her for a while, and I was okay with that. And at the time, I didn't really know what marriage would look like for me in the future, because I knew whoever married me had to take on this package deal with me and HK. And so I was okay, and I joked and said that I was going to be like Lorelai and Rory Gilmore, and it was just going to be me and her against the world. And that changed. Right before I graduated from college, I met my husband on a blind date. He pretty much swept me off my feet, and I said, and I tell everyone all the time, that I knew I loved him on our second date, and I told him on our 4th, and he proposed 6 weeks later. And we got married a year after that. We had a short courtship, but a long engagement, so it all kind of worked out. We got married in 2015, and as soon as we said I do, I got pregnant. And our daughter, Gentry, was born later that year in August, and she was born as a micro-preemie. And she was 2 pounds at birth, and we spent 54 days with Gentry all together in the NICU. And so, sometimes I'm going to talk about, that in reference to the vlog, because there are a lot of people out there who relate to that, and prematurity and going through the struggles with that. And Gentry goes through continued therapy now. And after everything kind of happened with Gentry, we said we were done with babies, because it was a traumatic labor and delivery, and the NICU was hard, and she had some extra needs that needed to be met after that. And we said we were done. And then my husband was scheduled for a vasectomy, a little snip. And 2 weeks before he was scheduled, I found out I was pregnant again. And so our 3rd daughter was born it was a year and a month to the day after Gentry was born. So we had 3 girls, ages 3 and under. Just recently, though, HK turned 4, so I have 3 girls 4 and under now, and it was kind of this crazy thing. I joke and say that, that we make plans and God laughs, and God laughed at us and said we were going to have 1 more girl, which is kind of a cool thing in our family. I have 3 daughters, and my sister also has 3 daughters, and my family just really doesn't know how to grow boys. After my brothers, that was it. We only have girls, and so even my cousin has a girl, and so we don't have a lot of boys around here. And Zoe, it was actually funny because we were so sure we weren't going to have another one, but I was on some seizure medication that made contraceptives weaker, because aside from having all this going on, in the last year and a half, I was diagnosed with epilepsy. And so I know, again, there's ways I can relate out there to people, or moms especially, who have epilepsy, and learning to navigate that in my life and my daily life. It does impact my daily life. I have to take medication every day. I have to be careful with the medications because long-term use can actually cause damage, and so I'm still balancing that out and learning how to deal with that in my life. And because I do have seizures, I can't drive. And so after that, and my husband's job in the military, sometimes he has to go away for extended periods of time. And so my mom bought a house. My mom and dad, they're the coolest people you will ever meet. And I'm not just saying that because she's going to see this. There are things she does that are totally drive me crazy because she's my mom, but in general, I'm being completely honest when I say that my mom is my best friend. And so she called me and said, hey, with all these issues, there's a house for sale down the street. I won't do it if it's going to make you uncomfortable or whatever. And before she could finish her sentence, I was like, yes, Mom, please move down the road for me. And she did. And it's been great, and it's been a blessing. And through that, we actually came up with the idea to co-homeschool. And by that, I mean that we have a school room down at her house down the street, and she is going to homeschool my 4-year-old daughter, HK. While I do the other needs and therapies that Gentry and Zoe need, because they were micro-preemies. Both of them, I forgot to mention earlier that Zoe was also born extremely premature. Gentry was born 2 pounds, and Zoe was half of that. She was only 1 pound, and they both had individual struggles. Zoe struggled quite a bit more. Zoe was actually very, very sick, and there will be times I'll share more details about that. And she, all 3 of my kids are miracles, and Zoe especially by far has been I look into that child every day and I see the face of Jesus, because she has been just a daily reminder that God is good and he still performs miracles. And that brings me to the most important thing about me, is that I am a Christian. I'm sure some of you might be turning off your camera now, and then some of you might be saying, thank God, that this is someone I can relate to in that way too. Definitely Christian. Jesus is my first and foremost. I know that without God, my daughters wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have been blessed with the story that has been written for me like I have been. By all accounts, 2 of my 3 daughters should have died. I suffered a stroke shortly after Gentry's birth. I should have died, and I haven't. And there's a reason and a purpose. And right now, that purpose, my life calling right now, is to be a wife and a mom. And but as you can imagine, with all of this, it's never boring. And I joke and talk about taming my circus, because I run a circus, and I'm very good at it. I've become pretty good. I'm not perfect by any means, trust me. Some of you guys will watch this or see videos of my kids and you'll be like, this woman's crazy and she doesn't have her head screwed on straight. And there are days, y'all, I don't. But for the most part, I think, we're doing a good job, and we're really happy. And so just a few things about me, other than, more things, because I'm sure your head is spinning from all that information already. My husband in the military, and my daughters, and homeschooling and stuff. I have a few interests that will be featured and vlogged. We bought our first home recently, our home. We just rented previously before that on the base where my husband was stationed. And it's had some updating that needs to be done, and a couple big updates coming soon. I'm going to redo a kitchen and my bathrooms, and do the things you do when you have a first home and an investment property you need to invest in and try and turn a profit someday and all that adult big people things. And so, yeah, I'll be vlogging about some of that. One of my big projects will be coming up next month. And I have a group of friends who's going to help me. And one of my big partners in this, her name is Janin, and she is starting a blog too. So we'll kind of feature and shout that out. And hey, Janin, I love you. Some other friends and family that'll be featured aside from my mom and my dad and my husband, of course. Janin, Brianna, one of my sweetest friends, some of my Air Force friends. They'll be here. You know, I have all these neat little friends that have come to me via different paths in life, and so we'll kind of dive into some of those at different times. You'll get to meet them when they're on here, when they come and see me for some reason. And so, you know, that's just a little bit about me. And as you follow our vlog, sometimes we'll do videos together, and then sometimes my mom and dad visit family in another state, and so they're gone for extended periods of time doing that. And so we'll do videos individually, like our intro videos will be done individually, because we have some family things that have drawn us apart here for a little bit. And then she'll come back and join me when school starts, and more of our vlogs will be together and be about that. And, you know, I don't really know much about what to vlog about, as people say, but I'm pretty much just going to give you a peek into my life and my circus, and hopefully through this kind of reach out to other people who've been in our situation, whether it be NICU, short or long-term hospitalizations of children, of your children. That's one of the hardest, if not the hardest thing to go through as a parent, is, you know, having that control kind of taken away from you when you're a mom. And, you know, I'm definitely going to, you know, hope to reach out to people like that, and people who have questions about follow-up therapies after, because sometimes, like in our situation, the NICU doesn't end at the NICU. It continues. And we still live with the impact of prematurity every day, you know, with our daughters and their developments. Or epilepsy. You know, sometimes seizure medication prevents people from being able to conceive. And so sometimes it's hard to actually meet other moms who have epilepsy and are dealing with newborns and toddlers like I am. And so, you know, I just, I'm hoping that maybe I can reach out, maybe make some friends who relate to me, and, you know, what your doctor's doing to help you and what my doctors are doing to help me. And I'm really just hoping to reach out, you know, in that way. I think that's all I was going to hit on for this video. You'll discover that I like to talk. Sometimes I don't know what I'm talking about, and that doesn't stop me. So, hey, sorry. And I'm hoping to make some friends, and I'm hoping that you like this peek into my life and the life that I share with my mom, who's a big help and is going to be a great big help to me, for sure. So, yeah, welcome to my circus.